with only a few short days to go before the start of the next Electrosports baseball season. We thought it would be a good idea to have a look around the league at some of the changes that have happened in the off-season. Defending champions Bulldozer Power have moved into the brand new Battle Plan division, alongside Lingo Blend All-Stars and the Budget Roadies. Budget Roadies being just one of 4 new teams to enter the league. As the league expands to 24 teams, it's still a 20-game season, but with 24 teams in the mix now, there's still a lot to play for. We'll start in the Woodchipper division and have a look at who's moved where with what and how. We start in the Woodchipper division and Stardozer Human Resources, who finished the season on 14-6 with a playoff run that didn't make them go that far. They've lost a couple of key players, Party Boy and Bernard Dunk, unable to find a new contract this year. But we've heard that third baseman Boris Wet Paper Bag has had some market improvement while the season's been suspended. New signings include Miriam Handstand at right field, Ty Rubble, shortstop, Nigel Prison at catcher, and Brooke Liability at left field. And we're hoping that they'll continue their run of good fortune here in the new season. The second best performing team in Woodchipper last season was Colonel School, but they've lost Hooker's Treebore, Nasty Nate, and Carlo T. Curious, among others, in the off-season. Father Tempest, the starter and relieving pitcher, has shown some signs of improvement while the season's been out, and they've signed Frank Tango to second base along with Jupiter Retrograde at first base in the hope that they can make something of an impact this year. But they're going to have to hunt down the Stardozer HR team in order to make that happen. Rounding out the Woodchipper, we got the Port Miggins Pirates, who with a 6-14 record last season had the second lowest number of wins in the entire league. They couldn't quite secure the talents of Jossie Clickbait, Thurk Minstrel's Bane and Scooter Override, but it looks like Plastic Vicar and left fielder Bum Soz have shown some improvement in the off-season. They've signed Todd Baubles as a new starting pitcher, along with Thomas Mildew, who will hopefully be able to turn the team's fortunes around, because they certainly won't want to be at the bottom of the division again. Turning our attention to the Bombastic division and the 8-12 Nomads. They had a bit of a nothing season last year and said farewell to Lee Hu, Dennis Climax, Helmut Cenobite, Nigel Prison and Chirp Scott while we were taking a brief breakette. Hippie Impact, Jesse Flail and Florence Bastille have all had a good off-season and should come into this one a little bit stronger. The big news, though, is that they've signed Furious Spongebath from Bulldozer Power, who at third base may be able to propel them much further than they've been able to go in the past. With a 9-11 record last season, the Colonel Space Agency didn't make it to the playoffs, and they've thrown Eunice Ultramarines out of the door as a result of that. I don't know if they blamed her particularly, but there it is. They've signed a couple of new players. Savvy Cromulent at pitcher should be a good play for them, along with John Tuesday at second base. They're in a tough division, though. I mean, these are 3 teams in the Bombastic who didn't do much last season, and so will be very much trying to make it to the playoffs this year. Graseridge are another team who had a nothing season last year with only 7 wins. They got rid of Todd Baubles and Buster Flight Risk during the off-season, but has picked up Hilda Showbiz and Carly Kohler as replacements. Not sure they're going to make much of an impact, but clearly someone at Graseridge thinks that there is magic in the air. Crotch Dangle, Flag, Nova Wild and Johnny Touchdown likely to make a change for this team if they're going to get anywhere at all. Moving now to the Fish Tank division, and we lead our way off with Peninsula Transport, who finished with 11 wins last year. They have signed Papal Event Horizon from the champion Bulldozer Power team to start them out at left field. And they've clearly got big hopes that he's going to make a difference, as they slung out a random assortment of players to make way for this expensive new signing. Whether it will make a difference or not remains to be seen, but keep an eye out for Blix Gornock, who is one of the highest rated players in the entire league regardless of position, and he will be their starting pitcher this year. The second team in the Fish Tank division is a new arrival. It's the Grunt Auto Group, who have lost Miriam Handstand from the AA league that they were in previously. Probably, I'm making this stuff up, so let's just say that they were, for the sake of argument. Not a massively strong team, this one. You're looking at Vertex, Cabal, Alfred, Singularity, and Cookie Peach Wallace to lead the way offensively, and it's going to fall to closing pitcher Tony Prongs to try and keep them in the game late on. I don't anticipate we'll see much from the GAG this year, but you never know. Finally, in the fish tank division, you've got the Bumson Medics, fan favourite Bumson Medics, I should say, who with a 50-50 record last year will be hoping for more this time around. Everyone's hoping for more this time around. I mean, it almost goes without saying. They haven't signed any really notable players, although the presence of Bernard Dunk at left field and Justice Lemon as a relief pitcher could make a bit of a difference. Bumson himself, of course, the centre fielder, is still only a B+ graded player. He's never really made the top charts for anything at all. But the Medics will be hoping for a better result than 0.5 this year. Finishing off our look at the Fail Brigade conference, and we move into the Battle Plan division, where we start with Bulldozer Power, who are sporting new uniforms this year. As you can see, home uniforms for each team is white focused or light colour focused, with their dark focus uniforms only used on the road. And there have been some changes on the team as a result of winning the full shebang. The whole shebang, all of the shebang. If there was a shebang going, Bulldozer Power won it last season. And as a result, some big names have left the building. Furious Sponge Bath, Hatchet Malibu, Papal Event Horizon, Big Rod McGurk and Oscar Cattleprod have all left the team. Contract could not be renewed with those players. Bubbly Merchandise, the second pitcher in their kind of bullpen lineup, has shown some improvement in the off-season, but new signings have come in who may or may not make a difference. Coming in to replace Sponge Bath is Jack Mercury, taking on the third base position, and he'll be joined by Buster Flight Risk as a starting pitcher. Mars Mullo at left field, Ruby Capslock Rudy Capslock. Ruby plays for a different team. Second base. And Capsicum Disco at first base, but let's face it, Disco at a C- rated player is only ever likely to be coming in dire emergency. Let's talk about the Lingo Blend All-Stars, who finished with 9 wins last season and lost Janet Mission and Ziggy Whippet, among others, in the off-season. Third baseman Bella McThrust and relieving pitcher Quebec Spire, the former Bulldozer Power player, have improved in the off-season, and new signings in the form of Dave Caustic and Bertram von Sluis could make a bit of an impact as the team tries to challenge the defending champions for the title. Rounding out the Battle Plan division are the Budget Roadies, a new franchise on the scene, and they had the opportunity to pick up some players along the way, including cast-off first baseman Big Rod McGurk. Led by Kiki Tyrant, the second base superstar, the Roadies they're up against it. They are not in the easiest division possible, but their pitching talent looks pretty solid with Steve Satan at starting pitcher and John Splinter there to round things out as a closer should the need arise. Turning our attention now to the Bad Company Conference and the Whoop Whoop division, where we look at the 8-win Red Star Pathfinders, who've thrown out Mars Mullo, who's found his way over onto the Bulldozer Power team, I think, possibly. I don't know, I've got a lot of notes here and I'm not necessarily reading them in the right order. Carly Cola, Beelzebub Fastidious, Jesse Velocidad and Busy Swell also left the team. We've seen some progress from Wilf Jerk, Trellis Cosmic and Fats Downtown, so the team is looking pretty strong, particularly offensively, with an awful lot of A-rated players. Coming into the squad, you've got the likes of St. Crabthorne, who is an A-rated player, along with Carlo the Curious, another A-rated player. It's a strong-looking squad, and we'd be expecting to see the Pathfinders make a challenge for post-season. First to take on the Pathfinders will be one of the new expansion teams from last season, the Ob City Axemen. They did quite well on their debut with 12 wins, but have lost the likes of Bernard Learning Curve and Davey Bones during the off-season. And they have signed Janet Mission at shortstop, who's A-rated, along with Len Styrofoam and Hugo Blowfish. They've picked up talent where they need it, led, as ever, by centre fielder Mina Failure. They've got a lot to do now because the Pathfinders and Sunshine Fun Bus, who round out the division, are all looking capable of going further this year. Speaking of the Sunshine Fun Bus, here they are. Now, they only managed to secure 5 wins. They were the worst team in the league last year. And Ethan Hogwash, Barry Science will be hoping that they can impact on something positive. And they're joined by new signings Charles Monkey Cage at right field with Party Boy at shortstop, which actually turns their offense into something that looks moderately impressive. Moderately. Bam Bam Puckeye, of course, the former fan favourite at Bulldozer Power, plays shortstop currently, and she may find herself on the bench for the first time in her career. Quite a disaster for fans of the Puckeye. Whether or not it's going to make a difference to the team or not, time will tell. Turning our attention now to Failurewood Hills, they finished 10-10 last year, and the big news is that they have thrown out one of the longest standing players on the team. Bird Dog has been ejected alongside Steady Bob and Spots Floral. Dandelion Witness and Ruby Capslock have both improved as Rudy's sister there. Yeah, Ruby. Yeah. They both play in the league, and they both got very similar names. It's not going to be confusing in the slightest. I'm sure we'll all be fine. But details. They've signed Perry Salinas at left field, Bill Blankowski at right field, and they'll be hoping that this depth of field will mean that they can secure more wins this year. But based on the strength of the lineup they have right now, I think it's another year of being an also-ran for the Failurewood team. Another team entering their second season in the league, it's the Ergmelon Flex Chroniclers. And they didn't have the strongest of debuts, managing to secure only 7 wins. But they've reinforced themselves in the off-season. Muluab the verbose, who is their star pitcher, having put in a significant amount of practice to improve his skills further. Starting pitcher Cruise Control and relieving pitcher Randall Frippery have also shown some signs of improvement, showing that the Ergmelon Flex team is looking to wrap things up defensively rather than going further. Whether or not it pays off, we'll find out soon. Last up in the Sloganator are the Stegonauts. They finished 12-8. Nice result for them, but they've lost Cookie, Peach Wallace, Jackson Real, Brad Adidas, Ty Rubble and Capsicum Disco. Quark Hebron, the relieving pitcher, has shown signs of improvement, having hit the training hard, but we don't think that a C- rated player is really going to have all that much impact, but I guess they're not as weak as they were before. The big news, though, is the signing of Tag Evil Couch at centre field. This is a monster of a signing, who for an A-rated player to fill in the gaps. Could it make a difference? Well, only if he hits it really, really hard and it goes over the fence relatively frequently. And now that I'm looking at it, there he is, top row, he's sat there, look at him, punch in the air, like he really believes in himself. You keep believing there, Tag, you keep believing. Moving now to the Zesty division, and we're looking at the Wretched Minstrels, who locked in 14 wins last season. Tag Evil Crouch left them in the off-season along with St. Crabthorne and Chief Otto Parts. Pingu Specific, though, well, she's come a long way in the off-season, moving up to a B+ rating at left field. Is it going to be enough to make a difference? No, but it should mean that Helmet Cenobite rarely sees the field. I really do, yeah. I definitely need to come up with names that I find easy to pronounce when speaking at speed, but hey, ain't that live for you. Shamrock Bubblejet has been signed, nice, along with Jerome Disquiet and Dennis Climax and Jim Drunken. They're all joining the team, but it's not the strongest lineup you're going to see, and you have to wonder whether a 14-win season is possible for them again this year. I don't think it is. The third of the 4 new expansion teams, and we're looking at the Bongolia Sea Raiders. They've taken on board a few new people, Hatchet Malibu being signed from Bulldozer Power, chief among them, along with Tobias Meatcleaver and Thurk Minstrel's Bane. They've got some names that you will have heard before, who've just decided to move to the new franchise to see if maybe they can make a little bit more of an impact. I'm not so certain. They don't really have anything that could be described as talent, and what you might be looking at here is the team with the worst record come season end. The Sports Ball Union are rocking a brand new uniform and a brand new logo. In fact, there's a lot of new logos around the league. Someone has been playing with Logo Shop and making quite an impact in the process of doing so. The Sports Ball Union, they've lost some names that we're familiar with, the likes of Perry Salinas, Chill Bill Blankowski, Butterfingers Vectrix, Fareba Binzu and Jim Drunken, all out the door. But we have seen some signs of improvement from Jack Snaggles and Tolakram, two of the players who are actually stronger already. So they could make quite a significant difference to the performance of the team this year. 8 and 12 last time around? Well, that doesn't get you anything. Can they do better this time? You've got Harrison Harbinger in the bullpen alongside Barnabas Bangers, and they're pretty solid. Out on the field, Jack Snaggle, Scott Lemon, Tola Cram, Crash Zodiac. Well, you've got some A-rated players going on. They're going to be challenging for the lead in the Zesty. Finally, we turn our attention to Colonel Cam, where Cheerio Inc., who finished 10 and 10 last year, have lost Terry Partisan. Dick Miner, Marnie Wormgut, Hippo Biker and Zero Deviant also unable to secure contracts with the team this year. Jeff from IT on third base, along with starting pitcher Lance Splendid, have been hitting the weight room and as such look particularly ripped and have improved their ratings in the off-season. The new signing, though, the big one, is Daphne Teflon. Daphne Teflon is one of very few A+ rated players in the league. At right field, she hits everything, and when she hits it, it goes over the fence. Look for Cheerio Inc. to be making a difference this year. They have 4 A-rated pitchers. They have several A-rated players out in the offensive side of things. It could be a big year for Cheerio Inc. The championship runner-up Beekeepers, well, they've been hit hard. Daphne Teflon having lost them, one of the best players in the league. That's not an easy place to fill. Shamrock Bubblejet, Savvy Cromulent, Olympia Swiss Lagoon and Carol Flourish also moving on from the team to pastures new. Whether or not that's going to make a huge difference, it's hard to say, but you look at the bullpen that they've got going on there and you have to say the Beekeepers are not the powerhouse that they were last season. Even by taking on new players like Brisket Wayfarer and Richard Boom, this is not a team that is going to be challenging. If they can make it to a 10 and 10 record this year, I will be very surprised. Well, the final team in the league, the final team in Colonel Division, and it's the final one of our new franchises, the Pix Creek Miners. Well, they've picked up some names you've probably heard before: Felipe Flexin, Eric Marsupial, Ziggy Whippet, Swiss Lagoon, and Jesse Velocidad have all joined the team, but none of those are particularly mighty players. Keep your eye open for the likes of Beeman Hurricane. However, he's looking pretty solid. Felipe Flexing, as good a player as ever, and starting pitcher James Strapp could well make a difference. Are they going to see postseason? No, they're not. No, this is not their year. But it's good for a new franchise to put out a halfway decent record in their first season, and these guys will be hoping to do just that. So there we go, we leave you with a picture of the championship Bulldozer Power team as they enter the season for this new campaign. Will it be back-to-back successes or not? I mean, that's fundamentally the reason that we do this series, is to find out the answer to that question. It's 20 regular season games. There are only 8 playoff positions available. The winner from each division will go through. Will Bulldozer Power be one of them? We will have to wait and see. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Colonel Failure. Set your subscriptions now so you don't miss out on the start of the season. Thanks very much for watching. Let's go.